Hey there, strangers. It's time for another 2 p.m. PC Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strangebeard Jim, and today we're going to be getting back into some Pega. Let me go ahead and get that showing there. There we go. Um, we got quite a bit of uh, content for you today. We got, of course, for Pega, we got the writing work for to users, the challenge coming up. So we're going to be tackling that and taking care of that. Um, just chatting, we're going to be uploading videos like always. And then we got some Final Fantasy VII Original later on tonight. So hopefully you'll stick with me and join me for all that. Um, so let's see. Um, um, to go through the normal beginning for any kind of Pega. For those of you that have been watching my YouTube videos, you already know, but just in case anybody, maybe stumbled upon this video at random, or maybe you are watching me currently on Twitch, um, the bear in mind that I'm not endorsed by Pega at all. Okay. I'm not a official instructor, so this is not an official instructor-led training. Do not consider it as such. Um, I will do the best I can to, answer any kind of questions that I might see, but bear in mind, you know, um, one would hope that you would get better instructions and information from the instructor-led training. Okay, so one would hope. Um, you know, while I might not have gotten the best training, you know, during my company experience of lead training, um, doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to have the exact same experience. So I just want to put that out there. Um, I'm currently working towards my certification for the system architect. Let me working towards a system architect certification. We are currently going through, all the missions and modules and challenges um, for the system architect. The business architect is very similar to system architect. So, and if anybody is interested in doing the business architect instead of, then you know, most likely after I get done with the first two missions, which is also covered by the business architect, I'll do the modules for business architect, and then I'll proceed on with the system architect. So for those of you that are trying to get a certification for business architect, you won't have to worry too much about, um, you know, uh, needing to kind of continue studying for a system. Okay, you'll have everything kind of given to you for business. You can take the certification. You can, uh, I'm hoping that if you're watching right now and you are, studying this with me, then I'm hoping that you're also kind of going through the modules, taking the quizzes, doing the challenges yourself, and then, doing some extra work on the side to try to get yourself prepared for the certification exam. Because while, you might hope that the questions are very similar to the modules, they aren't. So, um, you know, well, I mean, they are in the sense that, they're going to be asking you questions concerning said topics, but they're going to be phrasing it in such a way that you're not going to necessarily be seeing repeats, on the certification exam versus, what you're what you're getting from the modules and challenges and like. So don't, you know, you're going to have to make sure that you understand the concepts. So if the questions hit you on certification, then you'll be able to answer them properly. So just wanted to kind of put that out there. Okay. Now, um, is there anything else I should mention? I already mentioned the fact that we're probably going to be doing a extended um, coding session, when we get to the low code app builder. So, or the low code app, builder mission test. That might take a little bit more time overall. And then, I personally might need to kind of do some repeat studying kind of thing to try to really kind of get the concepts down. Okay, so um, if anybody is, officially part of Pega, or you're a Pega trainer, or you have a lot of experience with Pega, then please go through my videos and, try to help me out because there are some concepts that um, I was personally having some difficulty with. So, would love to have some backup from the Pega community to to help me out on like just general understanding. The main one that I was really kind of struggling with was the data module. So, um, if someone could maybe go through those videos and maybe try to explain it a little bit better because I was having a hard time with the module. That would be fantastic. But let's get to writing work to users. Okay, so in this particular scenario, specific members of the city government perform assignments on service request cases. The services coordinator identifies 3 assignments that must be read during case processing: schedule repair, review repair, and perform repair. The schedule repair and review repair assignments are routed to Municipal Services Coordinator. The perform repair assignment is routed to the appropriate operator based on the department responsible for the reported issue. The services coordinator provides the following table listing the conditions that require and determine how to route the perform repair assignment. So you have, route to, the value, the field, the comparator, and the value. So following table provides credentials. So we're going to wait for the instance to pop up. There is a video that will go through each of these steps, but we are not going to be taking it. Okay. Um, it's just going to be basically doing the exact same thing that I'm going to be doing. Um, so just bear that in mind. It'll show you basically the detailed tasks down here, step by step. So you're welcome to look through that. You know, maybe you'll have gain some insight from it, but um, I'm not going to be going over it. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Okay, I'm going to try to go through each of these steps, myself, so that if I mess up or something like that, then I can maybe address it to Pega and go, hey, this is coming out to be different than what's being shown. So we just need to wait for the instance. There we go. And there's the username and password. So we got copy the username, copy the password. Now, of course, the username and password is the same. So, I mean, you could technically, if you really wanted to, you could try to like maybe just, save the username and password. But um, it'd probably be easier for you to, type it in so you kind of lock it in your brain that, hey, if you're logging into a Pega server, you're gonna need to, use your own username and password when the time comes. Don't think that it's gonna be um, like a simple one-click entry all the time. Plus, it might be a little dangerous too, saving your username and passwords. All right. Um. Okay. So we got everything like up and running right at this moment in time. So now we're gonna head on down here to the detailed tasks, and we're gonna write the scheduled repair and review repair steps to a specified user. So in the navigation pane of App Studio, click Case Types and Service Request to display the case lifecycle. So case types, even though service request is right down there, it's kind of reinforcing, the steps of like, oh, you need to, get to the case lifecycle. Well, you're gonna need to go to case types. It kind of, you know, solidifies that process. If you want to get to the case lifecycle for, whatever cases you make, or if you want to make a new one, you want to go to the case types. So, okay, while it's working on that, um, click the schedule repair step to display the configuration pane on the right. Okay, so we're looking for a schedule repair, which is right there. And now open up the properties pane. Configuration pane. Right. Okay. On the general tab of the configuration pane, in the Route to dropdown, select specific user. So, here's the general. We have the Route to, and we have the current user, but we want to set it to a specific user. So now that that's open, um, in the dropdown under specific user, verify that the value defaults to username. It does. Um, under the field, in the field under username, enter the select, enter or select service coordinator at my town to route the scheduled repair task to the specific user. So when you're on here, and if you hit down, it should show you a listing of all the usernames that are currently available. So I can just kind of go here to service coordinator, or I can just enter it in. And there you go. So that's how it should be looking right at this moment in time, right? Specific user, username, and then the service coordinator. Uh, yeah, pressing the down arrow in this field reveals the list of users available to work in the application. Click the review repair step to display the configuration pane on the right. So, review repair. And once again, we're probably going to be dealing with the Route 2. Because we handle um, the scheduled repair for the service coordinator. So display the configuration pane on the right. On the general tab, verify that the Route 2 dropdown defaults to a specific user. In the drop down under specific user, well, does it default to it? It does. Makes sense, right? Seeing that this is a confirmation step, you'd probably want it to be sent to someone that is, like a manager or something like that, so that it can be confirmed. So, okay. In the dropdown under specific user, verify that the value defaults to username. In the field under username, enter or select service coordinator, my town, to route the review repair task to the specific user. So, there we go. And that's how it should look. Okay. Route the perform repair step using business logic. Click the perform repair step to display the configuration pane on the right. On the general tab of the configuration pane, in the Route 2 dropdown, select use business logic. Okay, so under the perform repair, under Route 2, we're going to be using business logic. Right. To the right of the Route 2 dropdown, click the gear icon to display the business logic window. In the business logic window, to the right of the first of the one label, verify that the Route 2 dropdown is set to operator. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is click on the gear to bring up the window. And then next to the one label, it should route to operator, which it does. Note, the route 2 dropdown defaults to operator. For this exercise, verify that the default remains the same for each condition. In the value field, enter or select Parks Manager at my town as the operator. So in the value field, when we click on down, as you can see, there's a lot of different operators. So we're looking for that one. So there we go. In the second row, in the select dropdown, select Fields, Request Type, Department. Okay, so select Fields. What was it? Fields, Request Type, Department. There we go. In the comparator dropdown, verify that the value defaults to is equal to. It is. In the empty field to the right of the comparator dropdown, enter Parks and Recreation to set the value to compare in the condition. The first condition is now set to route to Parks Manager at my town when the condition is true. No, You can use quotation marks when you enter the condition value. Otherwise, Otherwise, the system adds quotation marks automatically. For example, if you enter Parks and Recreation, the system adds the quotation marks as shown in the following image. All right. Basically, if you're not really understanding what's going on here, let me try to break it down. So, when when you start like entering information into the fields and the like, okay, eventually they're going to say, hey, we have a department here, and it could be like multiple different departments, right? Um, in this particular case, they're saying if the department is equal to Parks and Recreation, then we're sending the assignment or the work to the operator of parks managers at my town. Okay, but bear in mind, okay, it has to be basically an equal match to everything here. Okay, the Parks and Recreation. Okay. Um, if you're off by a letter, or if you type it in incorrectly into the field for department or something like that, and you're missing like a letter, then it's not going to be equal to, and therefore it will basically skip the step and move on. Okay, so you're gonna have to make sure that what the user selects is exact duplicate parks and recreation. Okay, so just kind of want to put that out there. Don't want you um, or if you're having problems with this step in the sense that what's um, the application is like going okay um, I'm typing in the words correctly, but it's not working or something along those lines. And come to the business logic here and verify that you got everything working the way you want it to, right? So a little tired. Okay. Um. Yeah. Um. Let's see. You can also click the gear icon to choose from a list of existing values for the department field. All right. So, in other words, you can click this, you know, and you can um, basically say, hey, these are existing values, and here are the departments that is available. So you can also say, hey, I'm going to ignore case sensitivity. So if someone types in Parks and Recreation in lowercase, or maybe they're in all caps, then this could potentially save you a lot of pain. Um, but maybe you want, maybe you have like different parts of Parks and Recreation or something like that. Maybe maybe you want to send like one to Parks and Recreation with, I don't know how you would kind of handle that per se, but maybe there's some reason why you would want to have like, hey, you know, I have this for one particular department. I have this for another particular department, but they're exact same name somehow. Then, I mean, you could do that if you really wanted to, but it'd be quite confusing for anybody that isn't familiar with it. So, um, yeah. Click the add condition to set the conditions for the DPW manager at my town and traffic manager at my town operators. For each condition operator pairing, repeat steps 4 through 8 to route the perform repair assignment to the appropriate operator using business logic. So, yeah, click the add condition to set the conditions right. So, add condition. Okay. Department is equal to public works. Okay, and manager. Okay. Okay. And looks good there. There we go. Alright. Don't need to add another condition. You just need to add those two in there. So under add condition to the right of otherwise, verify the route to dropdown is set to operator, which it typically is. So to the right of the route to dropdown in the value field, enter and select service coordinator at my town to set the operator for the otherwise condition. So set to operator, and then of course there's everybody here, so it's just easier to just kind of um, paste in the value or type it out if you can to let the sorting be a little bit better for you. All right. In the lower right of the business logic window, click submit to route work for the perform repair step based on these conditions. Click save to complete configuration of routing for the case type. So submit. Okay, and now we click on save. And everything that we've done so far, and configuring the business logic and routing the work to various um, personnel is being handled at schedule repair and review repair now. So there we go. All right. Now We want to confirm the work, so repeat the steps in the section for each type of request to verify that the perform repair assignment is routed according to the following table. In App Studio, in the service request case lifecycle, click Save and Run to run the new case. In the Reports Problem View in the Request Type section, in the Type drop-down, select Road Debris. Alright, so Save and Run. I don't know why I'm so tired right at the moment, but I am. Maybe I just haven't been getting some decent sleep lately. Been staying up too late, I guess. Staying up too late and waking up super early. It happens. Ugh. It's funny, I once had an experience where I had a roommate. Um, well, I mean, yeah, I guess a roommate. It was in a previous house that I was at. Um, she, my room was like right next to the kitchen, and you know, I, I was, um, the problem with the house was that it was very thin walls, meaning, you could basically hear everything from that house. Um, if you were on one side of the house, you could pretty much hear, you know, like music on the other end of the house, fairly easily, right? Um, I mean, you can obviously, reduce down the volume and stuff like that, and try to do things that way, but it was just no insulation to really block out any kind of um, sound. Um, what the problem was that I was like right next to the kitchen, and um, my the we had one roommate move in, and she basically had the opinion that she had to cook breakfast for her son almost every morning, and obviously that required, well, you know, using pots and pans and using stove and banging around in the kitchen, right? Well, more often than not, it woke me up. You know, it woke me up super early in the morning, and I'm like, you know, can you not? You know, I mean, I get it, to a certain extent. You wanna have your son have the best food and the like, but at the same time, I was having a hard time, um, you know, she was basically disturbing my sleep, my sleep schedule. And she gave me this excuse that, like, I can sleep for 4 hours. It's like, okay, that sure. Um, First off, not everybody can sleep on the same kind of schedule. Some people can handle that, sure, 4 hours, whatever. Personally, I don't see how. Others require more time for sleep. You know, um, some people need more time to get into that REM deep sleep to get a satisfying and well rested sleep that they should be getting every night, so they don't necessarily go crazy, right? what's hilarious is the fact that more often than not, I find that she was like napping, you know, on like the sofas and stuff like that. Like after she was like done with work, I'm like going, uh-huh, 4 hours, right? Sure. So, not quite sure why I'm waking up early right at the moment. Maybe it's just cold mornings or something like that. I don't know. Actually, I think now that I think about it, I think this morning I was actually woken up because I was too hot this particular morning, which is very odd because it's been fairly cold here, right? Well, I guess someone decided to turn on the heat for early morning because I was, you know, when I woke up, you know, um, you know, my electric blanket had, kind of overheated me. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm awake now. That's what kind of it's like consistent temperature. I would love to have consistent temperature. Oh, so um, okay, so we are we are on our save and run. So in the report problem view, in the request type section, in the type drop down, select road debris. So road debris. That selects Department Public Works automatically. Click it, continue to advance to the next step. In the Identify Location view in the address field, enter the address of the issue location if one is not provided automatically. Nothing is being provided automatically. Um, and they're not necessarily giving me a address that I can kind of use. So, but Google's kind of saving me here. So we're gonna go ahead and reuse that address there. Um, okay, click continue to advance to the next step. In the Identify Submitter view, click continue to advance to the next step. In the Request Updates view, click Create to advance to the next step. Okay, so we've got Continue and we have Create. Okay, that should handle all the gathering information on the left-hand side of the screen, right? The create steps, we just went through all of them. So now we should be like in the middle where it's, you know, the service request, the review portion of the stages, right? So in the to section, verify that the case has advanced to the scheduled repair step and is routed to the municipal services coordinator as indicated by the initials MC. So should have the MC there. Click the avatar to display information about the assigned user, including the name of the user. So Pega platform indicates the user to whom a task is routed by the use of an avatar. By default, the avatar for the user consists of initials of that user, which you can change. Like as you can see down here, this is kind of showing the profile, right? Well, you can modify the profile, later, but you can see that the MC is right there, and when you click on it, you can see that MC is Municipal Services Coordinator, and all the other additional information such as their email, Services Coordinator at my town, so on and so forth. So click go to open the schedule repair view. In the due date calendar control, enter tomorrow's date, then click submit to advance to the next step. So click go, and then we're gonna click the due date for tomorrow. At least I'm gonna try to. There we go. Um, Click submit to advance to the next step. In the to-do section, verify that the case has advanced to the perform repair step and is routed to the DPW manager as indicated by the initials DM. DPW manager. And our challenge needs to come to an end soon. My timer is going off. Okay. But I mean, we're close to verifying the challenge anyway. So click go to open the perform repair view. Complete the required fields and then click submit to advance in the next step. So go. I mean, 1, 2, 3. All right. In the to-do section, verify that the case has advanced to approve repair step and is routed to the Municipal Services Coordinator as indicated by the initials MC. Get approved, MC, Municipal Services Coordinator. There's everything there. Everything else looks fine. Click go to display the approve repair view. Click approve to resolve the service request case. Click go. Once again, we're still under the Municipal Services Coordinator. We click on approve. And there we go. It should be done. Resolved completed. Click approve to resolve the service request case, and then we just verify the challenge. So everything should be perfectly fine. Although it is taking a little bit of time there. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so we are done with this particular challenge here. Now, Here's so here's the thing that, I had with my team. I had difficulties with my team about this particular process. Okay. Um, so when you assign the, assigning work to, the particular operator and the like, okay, one would hope that, when you get to the point where, you're under like the review or something like that, it switches, you're switching to a different operator, right? Well, um, the, the author here, author my town, shouldn't necessarily have access to, completing everything here. Okay, so um, when you transfer the work to another operator, it should be done for the author. In other words, okay, I should, I shouldn't necessarily be able to, um, you know, do the review or resolution here for the author because, it should say, hey, you're going to have to go to, that particular operator to, review and resolve, the work, right? Because it's no longer in the author's work list. Um, we tried to do that with our, um, with our application that we built for like the, final, um, for our final programming exam kind of thing to see, how well we learned, right? Well, when we were trying to set up, the different profiles, the different operators, the different personas, to send the work to, we had some difficulties on ours because it wasn't always setting it up for that specific work list. Um, so we had some difficulties with that. Now, uh, what I would say, is, for Pega here to try to set it up, so that, you know, author my town doesn't have access to complete, the work lists of other operators, you know, set it up so, you have, different additional roles here that you have to log into in order to complete this particular challenge. This challenge is easy if you're just doing it for the author my town, but as soon as you add in the fact that, you have to go to other operators, you have to log into other operators, go to that particular work list and do that particular work list, then that becomes more of a challenge. Now I get it. They're just kind of showing a little bit of, how to route work to users. But, um, I would hope, now, if I remember correctly, they didn't really cover, what I'm about to say. Um, or at least in my experience, they didn't really cover it very well. Um, I would hope that, they do something like that in the future. Set up a challenge where they, you know, do, they have like multiple roles here that you have to log into in order to handle the workload being passed around. You know, go to each person's work list or work queue to handle what's being assigned. Because this right here, the fact that, hey, you have the created, you have the updated, and you have the resolved, all under one particular person, that's bad design, especially when you're supposed to be like sending it out to other operators, right? You know, is the other operators going to be signing in to author my town each time in order to resolve it? No, they shouldn't. It should be going into their own work list and work queues to handle this kind of work. And Pega should, you know, um, have a challenge that really pushes that envelope. So, but that's it. That's where we're gonna go ahead and end it for now. We're done with this particular challenge. So we are going to be working and going on to the next module tomorrow. Um, which will be designing an approval process. Now the module and the challenge seem, they're saying like 15 minutes total, so we might be able to kind of get through both of them tomorrow. We'll see. We'll find out. But um, but yeah, I just want to mention that there because most likely each the topic and the quiz is about 5 minutes each, and then of course you have the challenge that is also 5 minutes. Um, so we might be able to kind of get through all three of these tomorrow. Maybe. We'll find out. Okay. Like I said, I don't really trust their time estimates. They haven't really been perfect, at least not for me. Um, Also, while I might have finished off routing work to users, feel free to use this instance to build more stuff. Okay. To kind of really test your understanding of what's going on there. So, or refresh your understanding of other other things that have been covered. You know, like the case status, for example. You know, um, that kind of stuff. You know, setting up personas, setting up data. That kind of jazz. Okay. Um, Go on and work on that. You know, set those up. So, uh, you know, you're welcome to kind of play around with this instance because it's just gonna go away. So, um, make sure not to save anything like worthwhile that you're like really wanting to keep in the instance. Don't do that because the instance is just gonna delete everything inside of it anyway. It's just gonna get rid of it. So don't leave it there to be um, um, don't leave it there in the hopes that you might come back to it and find it perfectly in stable condition because it won't. They're gonna remove everything from it. So just use it for your own. Um, we just went through like a Lego manual, for example, right? So now take all those Legos apart back, take all those Legos back apart and just build something new out of it. That kind of thing. Play around with it. So, you know, reuse what you learned or just learned and do something new. So, all right, but that's going to be it for this particular run through of Pega. We're going to go ahead and switch on over to just chatting and uploading videos. Um, and we are going to be then moving on to Final Fantasy VII later tonight. Um, Obviously, if you're watching currently on Twitch, stay with me. But for those of you that are watching on YouTube, feel free to do the normal YouTube stuff. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Share, bell notifications, so on and so forth, because that would really help out. Feel free to leave a comment. Um, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, if it's a question that I don't really know the answer to, then I'll let you know. But um, just know that, like I said, like I mentioned before, I'm not an instructor. I don't pretend to be. Okay. Don't consider me as some expert of Pega because I'm not. Um, I'm trying to learn it myself. So, um, I if you want to, feel free to ask. Okay. Anyway, I'll let you know if I personally can't answer it. I'll see what I can do about trying to find an answer. But at the very least, that question will be there for anybody else that might come along and they might have the answer. So don't think that you know um, hey, I might not have the answer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that someone else wouldn't. So the comment section is there for a reason. So feel free to use it. So but that's it. That's where we're going to go ahead and close on down our Pega session for tonight. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Um, and yep, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording right now.